Hey there! Today I'm going to be talking about survivor perks, and I'll be ranking them based on their most important feature, their comedic value. I asked my wonderful community what perks to rank, and they gave me this long list, and now I'm going to put a bunch of them into this tier list. I am not covering every single survivor perk, because if I had to record using every single survivor perk, I would die. But if there's a comedic perk that I missed, then you can tell me about it in the comments, and maybe there will be a part 2. Let's get into it. I made 3 tiers of comedy. S tier, this perk consistently provides comedic value. B tier, very silly in niche situations. And D tier, basic perk with comedic undertones. And obviously we'll be going through the list in the order that makes the most sense, reverse alphabetical order. Wiretap is an Ada Wong perk that activates once you do 40% of a generator. Once activated, you can place a trap on a generator, and that reveals any killer's aura within 16 meters. This perk can be very silly when paired with other perks, but on its own it's kind of a basic aura reading perk. So it will go in D tier as a basic perk with comedic undertones. Urban Evasion is a Nia Carlson perk that has a very simple function. Your crouch speed is increased by 100%. This is great. I mean, the knee strength you must have to crouch this quickly. You become Crab. Although because you're so short, your shenanigans may be missed by an unobservant killer. So Urban will go in B tier, being very silly in niche situations. Oh man, the solo queue killer. Claudette's perk Self-Care can honestly be pretty useful when people know how to use it. The problem is, a lot of people don't know how to use it, so your teammate might be in the corner of the map healing for a full minute instead of doing a generator. And that's funny. Super frustrating, but funny. D tier, basic perk with comedic undertones. Now this is one of the god tier comedic perks coming from our resident survivor jester, Nick Cage. The way Scene Partner works is if you are in the killer's terror radius and you look at the killer, you scream, and then you see the killer's aura for 5 seconds. And after screaming, there's a 50% chance you scream again. So you can theoretically continuously scream forever. It can often make a killer question their life choices, and it usually gets you killed. This is our first S tier perk. It consistently provides comedic value. Repressed Alliance is a perk that came in with Cheryl Mason. It gives you the ability to block a generator for 30 seconds after repairing 40% of one. Not only does Repressed Alliance have neat lore implications, like is Cheryl stronger than the entity? Can she control it? It is a useful perk with some silly qualities. If a killer has no perks that block generators and sees you block a generator, they're usually a bit confused about what side you're on. B tier. It's a good time. Red Herring is Zarina's perk. After repairing a generator for a few seconds, the next time you enter a locker, that gen will get a noise notification, which can potentially draw the killer's attention away. I want to like Red Herring, I really do, but somehow every time I'm getting into a locker to misdirect the killer, said killer spawns right in front of me and now I'm dying. It's a silly perk, but it's so difficult to get proper value out of it. I will put it in D tier because it's so niche it doesn't even qualify for B tier. Quick and Quiet is one of the many perks we're reviewing that has a lot of potential for funny solely because of the perks you can pair it with. On its own, silencing a rushed action is barely worth a chuckle, but you pair it with some locker perks and suddenly you're giggling and kicking your feet because you bamboozled a bubba. B tier. Oh, Power Struggle. I want to love you. You came with my favorite survivor of all time, Elodie. But it is nearly impossible to get value out of Power Struggle without the Ash perk flip-flop. And the second you equip these perks, you're all but guaranteed to never be left on the ground again. Power Struggle is only funny because in the 1 in a million chance that you get value out of it, the killer is probably flabbergasted. D tier. Plunderers is a general perk that lets you see the aura of chests and items on the map and increases your chances of getting a higher rarity item. On its own, this perk is kind of okay, but nothing to laugh at. But you pair it with a bunch of other chest perks, and now you're collecting a bunch of items, and you're kind of an enigma to the killer. I do not recommend being a chest goblin while solo queuing. You will get left to die on hook. Instead, you should waste a bunch of time while playing with friends. D tier. Oh, Nick Cage, you made the game a better place with this perk. With Plot Twist, you can put yourself into the dying state. And oh my gosh, it is funny every single time. I've probably seen hundreds of survivors use this silly little perk, and I giggle every time. You can use it to heal yourself, you can hide in a bush and potentially lose the killer, you can make the killer miss an attack and leave them questioning everything. It's amazing. S tier. Easy.
It's not just a folder,
Adam's perk Diversion, commonly called Pebble, lets you throw a rock to make a noise notification. It activates after being in the killer's terror radius for 30 seconds. It's not actually very good at causing a diversion, but it's really funny to imagine throwing a rock at a killer's Strode's perk, Object of Obsession. The way it works is, if you're the obsession, every 30 seconds the killer's aura is revealed to you. The catch is, your aura is also being revealed to the killer. And also, every time the killer's perks or power reveal your aura, you see their aura. You two are basically just staring at each other all game. And that's funny. But this perk can get you killed when you're terrible at looping, like I am. And that's even funnier. B tier. Help! David's perk, No Mither. What could be considered the first meme perk in the game. With No Mither equipped, you are injured and broken for the entire trial, with the trade-off being that you leave no pools of blood, you are way quieter, and you can pick yourself up out of the dying state as many times as you like. This perk is great to equip if you want to make the games infinitely more stressful. And the hardest I've ever laughed in my life was when I spawned into a game, and there were 4 survivors with No Mither, and they all downed themselves with plot twist. So, you know, this perk enables silly things. S tier.
Prepare for trouble!
Make it double!
This is H3 Azar's perk, Mirrored Illusion. After repairing 20% of a generator, it activates. You gain the ability to place an illusion of yourself on a gen, a chest, a totem, or an exit gate. Up close, this illusion looks very wispy, it's see-through, but this can usually trick a killer that's on autopilot. It's also funny to see your survivor teammates reacting to it. This is a great meme perk. B tier. This might be the most meta perk on the list, but the funniest part of being completely silent while injured is being able to follow the killer without them realizing. Also, disappearing into a bush is very silly, but it doesn't promote interaction with the killer, which is kind of the silliest thing in this game. And thus, Iron Will falls into D tier.
Escucha las palabras de las brujas, los secretos escondidos en la noche.
Oh, witchcraft. Invocations came in with Sable Ward, though Tori also has one. Basically, when you have an invocation perk, you can go down to the basement where there's a salt circle, and you sit at the salt circle just doing occultism things, and a minute later a trial-wide effect is established. It's sort of high-risk, medium reward. You're broken for the rest of the trial, but you've reduced the amount of gens you have to do, or you see the killer's aura every time they disturb a crow. The best part about invocations is the unique animation. That is where the silly comes from. It's also fun to see other survivors come down to the basement to do witchcraft with you. B tier. The Jane Romero perk Head On was a bit of a milestone for exhaustion perks. One of the first aggressive perks to use against the killer rather than to run away from them. This perk, unfortunately, is pretty lacking on its own. If you're running a bunch of silly locker perks, then you can have a lot of fun, but it just doesn't hold up very well when you're running it solo. B tier. So Leon's perk Flashbang activates after you've done 40% of a generator. You can then go into a locker and craft a flashbang, which is an item you can use to blind the killer. The funniest part about this perk is the amount of times you will incorrectly use it. I have been blinded by my own well-meaning teammates countless times because flashbang save timings are super finicky. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've gotten value out of this perk, and damn, I will continue to equip it and I will continue to use it incorrectly. S tier. Nick Cage, you've done it again. He brought gambling to DBD. The way this perk works is, while not exhausted and running, you can press the activate ability button and one of 4 things will happen. You'll either scream, get a 25% haste for a few seconds, get a random item, or become exposed. You also do this funny, like, high knees animation. It's amazing, it makes every game more interesting. I love this perk, easiest S tier of my life. Deliverance is an Adam perk that lets you unhook yourself after you've safely unhooked a teammate. And you better believe that the second you equip this perk, you will literally always be the first one to be chased and hooked. The deli curse is real, man. I enjoy the silliness of unhooking myself in front of a teammate and then they just stare at you. It's fun. B tier. Yippee! Elodie's perk Deception lets you run past a locker and have the locker doors swing open as if someone just jumped into it. This perk is so hard to get value out of without pairing it with perks like Quick and Quiet, but it is really fun to trick a killer into checking an empty locker. S tier. E. Oh, Dead Hard, the bane of my existence. This perk activates after you're unhooked, and it gives you the ability to E into the killer. And if you time it right, you'll be able to take a hit and not die. That's a big if, though, because you will 100% dead hard into the killer and then feel the most embarrassment you've ever felt in your life before getting smacked in the face. B tier. Ellen Ripley's perk Chem Trap activates after doing 20% of a gen. You gain the ability to trap a dropped pallet. When the killer kicks the trapped pallet, they'll be enveloped in a cloud of chemicals that hinder them for a few seconds because they're cold, I guess. This perk has it all. A unique animation, promoting interaction with the killer, S tier.
Kaboom.
Blast Mine is a silly Jill Valentine perk that activates after doing 40% of a generator. You gain the ability to trap a gen so that the next time the killer kicks it, they will get blinded and stunned. This is funny every single time. I especially love punishing the gen kick meta that is super prevalent right now. S tier. H3's perk Bardic made the game a more whimsical place, and I am grateful for that every day. My DBD tuber friend, NSPG Certified, made the joke that when you're using the perk, you turn invisible because suddenly the killer won't attack you. And I'm stealing that because it's funny. Survivors love to see Bardic, killers love to see Bardic, and it's a genuinely useful perk with a good little bonus to gen speeds. Honestly, I love this perk so much that I'm making a tier above S tier. Bardic tier. Bam. Best perk in the game, easily.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour.
Yui's Teachable perk, Any Means Necessary, lets you pick up any dropped pallet on the map. Not only is this useful and saves resources for the team, it's a unique animation, and killers usually react in one way or another when you're trying to pick up a pallet in their face. Solid B tier. Well, wasn't this a beefy video? It was fun recording all the Survivor matches, and honestly writing the script gave me a greater appreciation for the sheer amount of unique perks there are in this game. Yeah, there are a lot of boring number increases, but for every 10 prove thyself, there's a shining scene partner or bardic inspiration, and they make the trials so much more fun. If there are any Survivor perks you think I missed, let me know. I'd love to hear why Premonition is the funniest perk in the game. And if this video does well, I could do a killer version of it, though killers have way less perks that have unique animations or effects. Thank you to my wonderful Ko-Fi supporters funding my crippling addiction to commissioning twins art. Thank you to the artists in my community that I commissioned to make this twins art. I know this was a pretty surface level video, but I needed something simple while I work on some big projects coming up that I think y'all should get excited for. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry this video was like a week late. I have been wildly depressed, but I will see you lovely gamers next time.